All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course, where we'll pause it, make sure that it's muted, etc., etc. I do see the chat is working. SC Wood saying clank. Clank to you as well, my good sir. So I will be doing an extra live stream, just so everyone knows, tomorrow on Saturday. Because, of course, I want to make up for Thursday. And there's plenty of news in the cycle because things are moving rapid fire right now. So, there's an awful lot to cover. Hell, half of my news docket's already filled up for tomorrow, actually, at the moment. We got Krassenstein's bullshit here. We're going to be talking about that. By the way, you can feel free to take these links in the description. The first one there, if you want to dogpile Brian Krassenstein, that would be hilarious to ratio him. And I think we're pretty close to doing so now. We'll analyze a little bit later. Barack Obama belatedly endorsing Kamala Harris. I have a feeling court intrigue was involved in the delay. I think that I'm probably right about that. We've got a lot of gaslighting and astroturfing going on. This ties in with the Krassenstein story a bit, but we'll elaborate further on that. By the way, Komodo dragons have teeth that are coated in iron. We'll be talking about the most hardcore lizard that ever existed, the modern-day dragon or dinosaur, of course. Well, we'll be getting to half of these topics are science news. We've got Monotreme madness. Study shows egg-laying mammals are unique inside and out. And of course, we already knew that. And a mixed approach to reforestation is better than planting or regeneration alone, study finds. So a mixed approach, mixing the two of them. You can make crops and shit like that and reforest areas for productive purposes while letting some areas effectively go to seed. This is something that should have been self-evident, but that they had to do a scientific study. SC Woods, good morning, Sticks. What time do you normally start your live streams? Roughly around this time, so 11 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's generally when I start to go live. The great Scalzini, the fact that the FBI is trying to throw out the shrapnel theory, this brazenly indicates to me that they had a part in the attempt. I agree with you. Try finding evidence of it, though. It'll be difficult. It's the FBI. There's a bit of a problem sometimes. The problem is little accountability within federal and state bureaus and an inability to sue them oftentimes. So hope that the Chevron deference thing going away really puts the kibosh to that. Yeah, there's lots of clanking going on. Salty Pig to how you doing? Most likely toiling with his herbaceous friends. Actually got a couple of clankers that are coming over on Sunday. Yes, I've got some works of art that I can't wait to show off coming. And so I'm taking them out to the garden, and they can harvest some goodies. There's a lot out there to harvest, so it shouldn't be difficult. Got to leave those tomatoes alone, let a few more of them ripen. Otherwise, there's not going to be enough of them. A little bit early in the season for those, but the collards are good. There's plenty of squash out there, etc., etc. Soapmaker 19. My mom's family has a superstition related to recently passed members leaving dimes for living family members to find. This is interpreted as a good sign. Have you heard of this before? Thanks. It does, yeah, it rings a bell actually. But you keep in mind that you lose change all the time in the couch and stuff like that. So, tigers are my totem. Sent $5. No comment. Thank you. Sparky, greetings, fearless leader. Greetings to you as well. Yeah, clankers. That's what we are, because we keep our spoons in the cup. Let's get to the first news story really quickly here. It's not necessarily newsworthy. It's just something fucking hilarious. Again, there's a link in the description where you can read this tweet for yourself. Brian Krassenstein, one of the two Krassenstein brothers, here's what he posted. Holy smokes! Large conservative accounts on X are now crying about how good Kamala Harris' social media game is and are now begging Trump to step things up. Newsflash for you all. Harris has only been in the race for a week. The next 105 days are going to be a ride you wish you never got on. Guess who he decided to quote there? Me. Let me give you, therefore, Brian, a couple of tips here. as we slowly ratio you because we're close. Pile in on that link if you've got a Twitter account, by the way, and like my reply, and maybe leave a comment for him if you want to. That'll be funny to watch in real time while I talk about this. Brian, I'm not a conservative. I've never been a conservative. I spar with my own audience when it comes to LGBTQ sort of things, other than the trans reading group thing. I happen to be right-wing on that one. I'm J.K. Rowling. She's right-wing too. Or on abortion and on elements of social safety nets and things like that. Not a Republican. I've never registered as a Republican. I've donated to political causes like 3 fucking times. I'm not a conservative. If you think that guns and taxes are the only issues, yeah, I'm going to come off as a conservative. But indeed, I'm not. You're just far left, and you're in an echo chamber. Secondly, I'm not crying about Kamala Harris having a good social media game because she doesn't. What I'm talking about is a naked astroturfing attempt. What you're trying to do is generate artificial enthusiasm for Kamala Harris by making it look like the floodgates have opened and she's really, really popular. And the funny thing is, you circled wagons for Biden for years there. He's not demented. He's doing a good job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The funny part is that the only way in which you can generate that artificial enthusiasm is by effectively counterbalancing Kamala the young with Joe Biden the old has-been. I don't like astroturfing campaigns. This is all David Brock and George Soros bullshit going on right now. If it were happening shoe on the other foot, you'd be calling it out as what it was, an astroturf attempt. Artificial enthusiasm for some GOP candidate or something like that. I do not need to be a conservative to support Donald Trump. I'm genuinely concerned about the kind of ideology that Kamala Harris espouses. It's similar to Joe Biden's ideology, only with a sprinkling more leftoidism, more anti-gunnery, and more viciousness. Plus, she's a fucking psychopath that literally laughs when she's confronted about dead children. That concerns me. I don't want to see children die. This is where Krassenstein weighs in and says, well, you're pro-gun, so of course you do. No. I would use my gun to defend children. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of the militia. You're completely wrong, and I don't know why. Think about it this way. Go back through my videos, Brian, which you probably have never seen. How many occult videos do I have on there? Enough to piss off the entire congregation. What are my views on abortion or gay rights? Things like that. How many times have I argued with my own audience on these topics? What are my thoughts on the drug war? And then look at my fucking username and ask yourself if I'm a garden variety conservative. Yeah, the average conservative has 666 in their username. This is a standard thing. It's the conservatives are the satanic party, I suppose. What are you fucking smoking, my dude? It doesn't make any sense. And so I just wanted to call him out directly and by name, giving him attention that he so desperately wants but does not deserve in the process, admittedly. I understand that. The entire grift is you are a Trump reply guy, but Trump's no longer on Twitter, and you're not going to get any traction on Truth Social. So what do? You just weigh in with cold takes on basically anything that you can fucking find. I'm very glad that you decided to reference me because it's going to get me more Twitter followers, but I am not indeed a conservative. I mean, basically, yeah, with 666 my username and my views on abortion, I'm going to be hanging out with Kid Rock and Ted Nugent any day now. I'm sure that they would embrace me completely. Probably tolerate me, but then they'd be rolling their eyes behind my back. I'm well aware of this fact. I'm not a conservative. Just thought I would get that out of the way because it's hilarious. Trigonaut, right-wing Twitter, goofy as fuck 1 minute celebrating the next doom-pilling over nothing. Yeah, they're doom-pilling. It's a Kamala Harris astroturf, basically. The Dashing Rogue. It's not scrap metal called, it's bullet spalling. Bullets tend to shatter on impact on hard surfaces. Steven Speaks. Did you see where Ben Shapiro called retirement a stupid concept a few months back? Not necessarily combating the stereotypes. Lol. Well, yeah. I do think that I actually agree with him on that. My God, it's the rain falls occasionally. I'll never retire, but that's because I like my job. If someone, is just doing it for a job, retirement sort of makes sense, but they should still be doing some sort of productivity. In this economy, you're going to have to do some sort of productive labor on the side anyway. That's why Biden's going after the gig economy to screw grandma and grandpa. Taco Bell. Insinuating that you use some occult powers or associations to protect Trump has me curious exactly what you did, but I don't expect an answer. I just wish I knew the details. I send my will out into the world in what you would probably reckon is a psychic manner, and do little things with it. It's pretty fun, by the way. Doubt Shadow sent you a tweet regarding unmasked pedos behind WPath, which advocates for kid transitions. 2 minutes. Horrifying. Wildly unsurprising. Check it out. Thank you. Yeah, if that's in my DMs, I'll check it out later. So yeah, Brian, my man, please get this news to him. I am not a conservative, nor am I a Republican. I'm not having a meltdown. If anything, the exiting of the incumbent from the race clears the way for Trump. And if you think that he's afraid to debate Kamala Harris, then you've got screws loose. I know that you're paid to post probably or something like that, but I couldn't be less worried about Kamala Harris, actually. I would have been more worried about Joe Biden, because if he does have a good day and they addy him up and stuff, he might actually have a good debate. With Kamala, Trump can just get under her skin and get her to cackle at dead kids or something like that. That's not going to go over very well. Plus, millions of people voted for the ticket in which Biden was at the top, and now they've got to settle for, the person that they tolerated, basically. She's not going to do well at the debate. That much is quite clear. You can try to inject the age issue that you disclaimed for years and years to cover for Joe Biden if you want. It's not going to go over well. You can try to front burner abortion as an issue. That's perfectly fine. You've been trying to do that for several years now. It hasn't really worked. I'm not concerned about Kamala in the least. If anything, she's an afterthought. You're astroturfing artificial interest in her. She did raise a bunch of money, but that's because liberals were gullible enough to think that she didn't inherit the war chest. She might not because of the Trump FEC filing. That's fine. Big money in politics is great. It no longer does the job. What you need are memes and things like that. You can do the mommy memes all you want, but here's the thing. Here's a suggestion. When Gen Z looked at the ticket, who's Joe Biden? He's the crazy grandpa. Well, crazy grandpa's okay. Yeah, he's off his rocker and says weird shit. That makes him funny. What's Kamala Harris? She's your mother. That's the whole problem. The youth does not respond very well to parental figures within power positions because they are busy actively rebelling against them. This works against Kamala Harris. If there's one advantage that she brings, it's you'll get less far left protesters at the DNC. That's pretty much it. That's the only thing, the only advantage that she has. In that sense, yeah, superior to Biden. In every other sense, other than dementia, inferior to Biden. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, what the fuck? Conservative. Yeah, there's 666. I'm a conservative. I'm a total evangelical. I'm a moralist, an authoritarian right-winger that wants women barefoot and in the kitchen. Yeah, I mean, I've got a daughter and everything else, but yes, I want women to be enslaved. I'm also an enthusiast of Islamofascism and want gay people tossed off buildings and stuff like that. No, I just want less taxes. I want to own guns, including the scary types that you don't like. And I fucking hate the idea of censorship. That's not a conservative platform now, is it? Mixed with all of the other views and nuances that I have. I think people keep getting me wrong. They don't understand what the fuck they're talking about. And Krassenstein's least of all, apparently. BW, they think anyone who opposes them is conservative. They have one idea. You think they're keeping Cackles out of office so she doesn't inherit any blame for Gaza because she wouldn't defund them. Yeah, they think that because I own a gun, that I'm Ted Nugent, I suppose. And though I think J.K. Rowling is far right now too, so they're a little bit lost. BW, let's not forget she lost a debate to Pence. Yeah, exactly. If Mike Pence can out-debate you, I think that Donald Trump is not going to have too much of a problem, especially with the super linear format. Nell Kwan, please inform my friend Putor that my reign of terror on Minecraft will continue until he pays me my $340. He claims I owe $170. These are liberal lies. Clank from Nashville. Well, yeah, Putor, now you owe him $340. I guess you can deduct the $170 or something like that. Moot the Cat. Maytag Blue Cheese carries the will of MAGA. I've never actually tried Maytag Blue Cheese. I guess you've convinced me. I'll get some when I'm at the store the next time. Alternate. Hey, Sticks, I created a video intro with your logo that might be useful for your live stream. Send a link to you via XDMs. Let me know what you think. Peace. Thank you very much, actually, for that. Yeah, I would love to do an intro video thing, especially on Rumble. The Grizzly. Do you think Kamala, or Komodo, takes Michigan, or do you think that she does worse in the Rust Belt states? What about the other two other close states and her chances of taking them against Trump in 24? I think Trump probably has North Carolina, Georgia, and Nevada pretty much in the bag. Arizona is open-ended. Michigan is 50-50. He has a slight advantage in Pennsylvania and possibly Wisconsin. New Hampshire looks to be off the table, but Minnesota's probably on the table. We need more polling. The problem is that we need much more polling. I need at least a couple of weeks. Technically, we have to wait until after the DNC at this point. We don't have an incumbent. Sparky, spoil BlackRock's plan. Make Ukraine Russia again. Goodness. Lots and lots of stuff going on. Virgil Shadow, will DEI cripple the CIA and other agencies' effectiveness? If so, can we use this to our advantage to get rid of them? Yeah, but getting rid of bureaus is always very much more difficult than creating them. Uphill battle. Awful lot of loud music out there. Oh, it's the kids walking by. Let's hope I don't get a copyright strike or something. Bayonne 201, good morning from Jess over Vermont. After $14,000, finally found out that my Camry had a sway bar installed upside down. I've got to mute this for a second, just a sec. Okay, that's better. Yeah, the local kids were walking by, probably went to the pool, and they had music blasting, and copyright is a thing on YouTube live streams. I don't want no problems. Thank you very much. Had a sway bar installed upside down, resulting in $4.75 per mile in the last year. Lol, hashtag gays for Trump. Interesting. What do fuck? I worry about Kamala if her poll numbers drop and she has USSS protection. I'm hoping we get a free and fair election. You're probably not going to get that, unfortunately. But the fortification has decreased since 2020. Jake Martin, did you see that old footage of Gerald Ford forecasting the near exact circumstances of Kamala's path to becoming a presidential candidate? No, you can send that to me on Twitter DM, though, if you want to. Next news story. Barack and Michelle Obama back Harris for president, bolstering her candidacy. I disagree with the latter part there. I don't think that it is terribly meaningful. Would have been more meaningful if they had sat it out. If they had flown to Hawaii and said, fuck you, and eaten grilled pineapple and like a pork roast for the next few weeks, that would have been very damaging to Kamala Harris. The fact that they endorsed is pretty predictable. I think that there was court intrigue behind the scenes, and the reason why it was a belated endorsement is that Obama came in and said, look, your candidacy fucking sucks. You're not going to win. Let me help you. Here, I'll help you choose a running mate. Hey, I've got a lot of political favors, by the way, so, you know, you don't want to fuck with me because I'm fucking Barack Obama. Here's a short list of candidates that are acceptable that you should choose from. I'm sure that they gave her a choice. These others, shuffle them off. You don't want to consider them, and he did that. He said something along the lines of, by the way, you owe me a favor. If I'm giving you my endorsement, then I'm going to need a little bit of a moolah, a little bit of a kickback. This is the way politics works. It's the same with the Clintons. Although they came in very early, and it's almost like they're just saying, well, curry us a favor, you know, somewhere down the road, and tried to get in to bolster first Biden. There were circling wagons then when Obama was livid at him, and then Kamala Harris to try to buy her up or something. And then Obama came in and put the kibosh to that and said, yeah, the Clintons are great. Yeah, Hillary's a wonderful person. And get along with them so well. It's my endorsement that you need. I'm King Liberal. So go fuck yourself. By the way, you kicked my former vice president off the ticket, and everyone fucking knows it in the public. So you kind of owe me a little bit. I think that that's what happened. Does the endorsement mean something? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that Kamala doesn't get damaged by the non-endorsement. No, in the sense that the endorsement in and of itself doesn't sway anyone. It's like with the enthusiasm about Kamala among certain liberals. Like with the white women for Kamala thing on Zoom the other day. All of those people were going to vote for Joe Biden. They're switching to Kamala because they can't vote for Joe Biden. They're just making a spectacle out of it and trying to make the right-wing vote more afraid. And it'll probably work because Republicans tend to get afraid very easily. Myself, I'm just sitting here shrugging my shoulders. I don't give a fuck what some random assortment of white women says. I don't give a fuck about what a random assortment of anyone says. White men, white women, black people, gays, lesbians. Who gives a fucking shit? Yeah, you managed to get 100,000 white women together that supported a Democratic ticket. Wow, what an accomplishment. It's not like they tend to lean towards the Democratic Party anyway. It's a fucking horseshit. Speaking of Astroturfing, we're going to talk about that next. We'll get to these, and then I'll read out the sponsors, and we'll get to the rest of the news. Tony the Greaser, sup cats and chicks, stay greasy and fight, fight, fight. And me out in Sta. Ramon C. GTC, that's the CIA flushing you out with music. It's the local one of the families that lives down there. They go up to the pool and stuff on a regular basis, and one of their kids blasts music constantly. Holden Sneedmeyer, a rat goes to the swamp and says that Saddam guy is up to no good. Mind of a madman. Damn, kids and their iPods. This whole place has gone to hell. There's a lot of more activity here right now. They're replacing the pipe out back. They're making trails for bikers, skiers, and for people on foot out in the woods. Thankfully, they left alone my little paradise, my little swampy area next to the stream. They're not touching that, at least now. Flynn the Fox, talked to my left-leaning mother about Project 2025. Despite Trump not being for it, she is worried enough of the people under him have committed to it will undermine it. Now, what do we tell people like her? Tell her that Trump has a very, very long track record. He's on record about his views, and he's been exceptionally consistent since the goddamn 80s. The deregulation aspect of Project 2025, he's on board with. In fact, he probably goes beyond it. He has expressed total disinterest in most aspects of Project 2025 and publicly disavowed it. Senor Faces, democracy doesn't mean anything when Kamala was chosen to halt our Tarl Warwick Fumo plush production. We should assemble to protect given rights. Bamani Igloo, my boomer in-laws, hardcore Dems, trying to pressure my wife to vote Kamala. I hide my power level from them, but it was fun telling my wife about Kamala's history. Yeah, her tough on crime track record may not go over too well. That and sucking dick to the top. Flynn the Fox. I agree with you on many things, guns, abortion, etc. But while I enjoy the eclipse and its beauty, you cast spells. You're crazy, but you're right. Yeah, I mean, why do you think I was casting spells during the eclipse? And do it all the time. Sparky, every time someone says that Israel's our only friend in the Middle East, I can't help but think before Israel, we had no enemies in the Middle East. U.S. missionary John Sheehan. Yeah, they're forgetting about Egypt, by the way, as well. And Turkey, which is in NATO, although, part of Turkey's in Europe, so. Max Attack. Did you see that the Trump assassin turned out, unsurprisingly, to be an annoying lib with his pro-Biden posts on Gab? That is alleged, not proven at this time, to be clear. The Cimmerian Sticks. I'm the fucking best. Cool. And Sparky 63. Break it off in BlackRock. Make Ukraine Russia again. You seem to say that a lot. Let's get to our sponsors, shall we? Then we'll get to more news. We got to talk about Komodo dragons and astroturfing and crazy shit. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills and things like that. Supplements, which anecdotally, and only anecdotally, I have found do really boost my energy. I take one of them every morning. I am a fan of the product. I'm not joking when I say that. I take it every single morning. Sometimes with energy drinks, so it boosts it even further. And you just you go fucking nuts. How do you think I do all of the work that I do? After I do the live streams and shit like that, I got to go out to the garden for several hours and preferably weed at some point. We have pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get bookmarks, keychains, belt chains, engraved spoons, glassware, and much more with the Ouroboros logo and other designs available. Various leatherwork, various metalwork, etc. They've got an etcher, and it comes out really good. I've still got some bookmarks and stuff up there. And as a bibliophile, that is extremely, I'm enthused by it. I like having a few bookmarks lying around. BiltongUSA.com or AntonsUSA.com. By the way, use code STIX or STIX10 on these sites when prompted to do so. You can get delicious biltong. Yes, he's got plenty of meat. He's trying to find a new game distributor, but they've still got the Wagyu. They've still got the Carbonasi. They've still got the Angus and so forth, all of which are fucking delicious, by the way. And you can also get Sticks, X, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts there as well. He's got a store in Roanoke, Texas, actually, so you can go and visit him too and say Sticks sent you. We have wickedneedleembroidery.bigcartel.com, where you can get Sticks, Hex, and Hammer hats, actually. Several designs and several colors available. You can get the offset logo. I think that one was the more popular, or central logo with Sticks, Hex, and Hammer 666 right below it. Good quality caps, and so you should get those. Heritage Heirloom Seed Company.com, land of the seed survival bucket. Many of the plants out back in the garden that you've seen, those were seedlings from them. And also, you can get the Sticks, Hex, and Hammer soapbox. It's cedar, it's blueberry, and it's clove. It smells really, really good. We're going to try to design a second Sticks, Hex, and Hammer soap variety, by the way, imminently. So we'll see when that is ready. websterswares.com/sticks-wares, where you can get miscellany. There are Trump paraphernalia available, like this flag came from them, of course, and many other things. Plenty of Sticks merch available as well. They've got knives in again. You've got steel straws, so you can save some sea turtles because you can reuse those instead of using the discardable straws and things of that nature available now. We've got jamandbean.com. That is JAMNbean.com. I had some of your coffee this morning. It was delicious. Please send more. Get the Costa Rica blend. Just fucking trust me on this one. All of the coffee and tea that they sell is good, but that one is like, it's on a totally different level. I mean, no acidity at all. It smells great when you roast it, by the way. And then finally, brickmuseum.com, which is based in Bellaire, Ohio. And you can go there and you can see their Lego collection. It is massive. You can look at their site and see the pictures of it. I don't know how many Lego sets in total and paraphernalia they have, but it's quite formidable. It's like the collection you wish that you had as a kid, actually. And so those are our sponsors. We'll be adding another one, actually, a corporate sponsor fairly soon. News and updates on that probably starting next week. John M. Clank from a few counties south. What do you think of Vivek and Alex Jones' predictions that Kamala won't be the candidate? Newsom, Big Mike 2024? Michelle Obama's uninterested, and Newsom shows no signs of running. They've effectively coronated Kamala by their convention rules, so she is the presumptive nominee. There's always a possibility, but it's a very, very remote one. Dutch West Films, best coffee shop in Rutland, going to Vermont next month. Go to the Speakeasy. Is it run by leftoids that have the Eat More Kale and Bernie 2016 stickers? Yeah. Do they make really, really fucking great bagels and really good coffee? Yeah, you should go there anyway. Huns with Guns, Big Chungus Meats from Rizland, Ohio. Use code AMONGUS for 69% off. Holden Sneedmeyer. Anyone who says Turkey is our friend should know there are highly popular Turkish films where brave Turkish soldiers fight off American soldiers. Also, Biden fell victim to the Assad must go curse. Interesting. I'm sorry, I don't have any problem with Turks, actually. You know, all of my Greek subscribers just unsubscribed, I suppose. Webster's Wares. Good morning, Clankers. Save 33% off site-wide at websterswares.com using code FIGHT. Free shipping using code STICKS at checkout. New one-time Sticks items on the way and new knives. Clank. Yeah, I've used one of those knives in the garden because it's so sharp, actually. Get knives and blades all the time. Yeah, if anyone wants to send me swords and knives and shit like that, I'm game. FFL me over firearms, send me ammo. All of these things are perfectly acceptable to me. Apache, been getting spammed with Kamala text at least 40-ish this week alone. I know, it's insane. Asked my friends if they were getting them too. Turns out only the black people got them. I've never voted or donoed left in my life. Yeah, well, let's talk about astroturfing because there's a lot of it. To prove fealty to Kamala Harris, the media gaslights voters by rewriting her past. That's only part of it. Right now, they're trying to claim she had nothing to do with the border crisis. She basically had no role in the Biden administration. It's like she didn't even exist for those last few years. That's very interesting. So anything that went wrong, she couldn't possibly had any role in it. Then, when I opened Twitter this morning, I always go onto the home screen and go through the feed and see what the news is. Did I get any news tips? I check my DMs and shit like that. I check my email. And I was surprised because all I see is a wall of Kamala this, Kamala that, Kamala the Great. Kamala is beating Trump. Trump is afraid of Kamala, chicken Trump, and bullshit like that. It is a total AstroTurf campaign. Probably paid for, at least in part. Some of these people are paid shills. Some of these people inexplicably do it for free. If the Trump campaign wants to pay me, yeah, I'll promote you, but I already do it for free. I don't mind it, though, because I genuinely like the candidate. Maybe not everything ideologically, but generally speaking, yeah, Trump did a good job. Some of these people, though, you can tell they don't even give a fuck about Kamala. They just got TDS. But they keep top-loading all of this propaganda. It's a wall of fucking propaganda right now that we're seeing, especially on Twitter. And the algorithm is supporting them. Whereas the algorithm should be effectively a common carrier and say, okay, well, people are engaging with this. They're not engaging with that. And so this gets promoted. That doesn't. We're putting a sprinkling of things that you're not following on your home feed. So maybe you find something new that you're interested in. That's all good. That's okay. But when it is 90+% fucking pro-Kamala shit, and many of the people that I follow, I never fucking see at all, that's a little bit strange now, isn't it? For instance, do I ever see Brittany Venti posts? Rarely. Maybe a couple times a month. Do I ever see Ramsey Paul's posts? Again, maybe once a week or thereabouts. Do I ever see Lionel's posts? Once in a great while. Am I seeing a bunch of posts by liberal commentators that I don't even follow on the fucking platform? Yeah, I'm seeing lots and lots of those. Almost like there's an agenda involved here. And Elon Musk is actually, supposedly, donating to Donald Trump. So somebody else, I'm assuming, made that decision. He needs to rein that shit in. Sassmaster, don't want a black pill, but are the Dems going to make it close enough in the polls to make honking plausible? Right now, they're failing at that. That's despite the AstroTurfing attempt. Andreas Zertus, Biden step down, make Kamala a first like Ford. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. The reason why he hasn't resigned is probably because in the off chance that she wins, she'd be the first female president, and she actually got elected, selected, really. George Paul, what would it take to get a Reagan v. Mondale-style blowout victory today? We may very well see one in this election, actually. You've just got to have good messaging and lots of memes and shit. Sparky, Michelle ostensibly endorsing Kamala was in lieu of Michelle actually running. She paid her dues in the Goldfish Bowl already and wants to remain free. Yeah, Michelle Obama, I genuinely believe that she had to spend time around white liberal nimbius that said shit about her behind her back and about her husband and probably her kids. and she got fucking tired of it and said, why the fuck would I want to be in politics? I genuinely believe her when she says she has no political ambitions. Holden Sneedmeyer, Joe, you have 59 missed calls from some comedian in Ukraine. He mentioned something about money and cocaine. Interesting. Billy Howard, you say Michelle won't run as Kamala's VP, but she won't have to do anything, i.e. VP Kamala. Perfect MMSM ticket. 2 DEIs versus 2 racist, misogynistic white dudes. Very plausible. Impossible. Not going to happen. She is not even being considered. It will be a white male, probably in the end. Now we've got a terrifying story, actually, as I grab some fucking caffeine. Jesus Christ, I need that. Keeping up with this news cycle. Trust me. Some people think that being a YouTuber is glamorous. It can be a lot of work sometime. You know, I work 7 days a week, probably about 10 hours a day sometimes. So it can be a little bit difficult. I hate to tell you this, but Komodo dragons have teeth that are coated in iron. Yes, they have partially metallic teeth. This is a new study. Apparently, they never checked a Komodo dragon tooth before and, you know, drilled into it to see what its composition was. Are there any other animals I should know of that have metal in their teeth? Like other than just regular like tooth enamel and shit like that? Because Komodo dragons are enormous. Their bite is poisonous, not venomous, but poisonous. They don't have technically venom, but their bite can cause necrosis, the rotting of the limbs, gangrene, sepsis, and so forth. That's sometimes how they kill their prey, actually. They just give them a bite, and then they just follow them. And the prey eventually gets blood poisoning and just passes out and fucking dies. And then they consume the dead carcass, sometimes half rotted, and then the cycle repeats because they eat so much crazy shit that their bite is not going to be easily survivable. I would not like to go to the island of Komodo knowing this, that they technically are dragons. And I was thinking, the island of Komodo, if I remember correctly, is in what used to be the Dutch West Indies, so Indonesia. I was thinking, imagine you're the first ship of Dutch colonialists. You land on the island of Komodo, and you see this particular animal. And you're like, oh shit, dragons are actually real. Because back then they probably would have interpreted it that way. Holy fuck. I thought that that was just a joke in the Bible. Are you Satan? And then we find out that their teeth are made partially of iron. Komodo dragons have teeth coated in iron to kill prey. Yes, they have serrated teeth too. So they will fucking slice you apart. Have you ever seen like a footage of a Komodo dragon predating upon an animal? Holy shit. By the way, I believe they should spread them to nearby islands that are suitable for their habitation, because I think they are a threatened species, and having something that's that unique with literally serrated iron teeth and, you know, poisonous and shit like that, gigantic, capable of ripping a person's head off probably. They're unique creatures, terrifying ones though. I don't want to be around them, but I think that they should still survive. We need to protect the dragons. Hashtag prevent dragon extinction. Salty Keldian, border under Biden. Bleeding border under Kamala. Bleeding and prolapsed. Goatsy style. Steven speaks. Fake Aunt Jemima 24. So exciting. Yeah, I know. It's wonderful. BIPOC and shit. Muddy Drip. Komodo dragons are xenomorphs. Holden Sneedmeyer. That Komodo bit is hardcore. Have a good one, Tarl. You too as well. Sumerian. Komodo Harrison also has iron in her teeth. Just ask Willie Brown. Komodo Harrison. You posted it twice in the same super chat. You're trying to trick me. Bystander syndrome. Kamala, so bad, evil, mean. Harris or Kamala, fire her. Harris. Names for the burrito people to meme with. I can't really say that entire thing on a YouTube live stream. Yep, Komodo dragons have iron teeth. How wonderful. As though they weren't fucking terrifying enough. Study shows egg-laying mammals are unique, inside and out. Yes, apparently there's a common ancestor gene for things like platypi and platypuses, whichever one you want to. Is it octopus, octopi, mooses, mises, Nobody really knows the answer to some of these things. I like linguistics. I just find it funny. Work from our lab previously had shown that the platypus and echidna had lost the genetic instructions for proteins that break down food and secrete stomach acids. But to me, this didn't explain the drastic shift in their stomach anatomy relative to other animals. Yes, they have abnormally small stomachs with low acidity, says lead author Jackson Dan, a PhD student in the University of Adelaide's School of Biological Sciences. Of course, monotremes, there are a lot of them in Australia. Thanks to novel repositories of genetic data and physical specimens we had at the lab, we were able to discover that NKX3.2, this is a gene, wasn't functional in monotremes, and this inactivating event contributed to the evolution of their unique body plans. Monotremes, which are egg-laying mammals, are the oldest living mammalian lineage, and this finding by the University of Adelaide sheds new light on their evolutionary trajectory. Though monotreme stomachs look significantly different from those of other mammals, some fish species also have similar stomachs. Sometimes things evolve in similar fashions without there being any relativity between them. For instance, birds have wings and can fly. So do butterflies. They obviously aren't recently, they don't have a recent common ancestor. It's interesting how niches are filled. It's likely there's some overarching ecological factor we're missing as to why these species have lost their stomachs. It's otherwise surprising that we would see these drastic shifts in stomach anatomy in monotremes, and then the next closely related species are loose groups of fish, Jackson says. And so they looked into the genetic data, and they figured out probably why monotremes have abnormally small stomachs with low acidity, and they're kind of fucked up in the anatomical sense. I found that fascinating. Also, I really, really like platypuses, or platypi, whichever one you want to use. I think they're fucking great. They've also got venomous spurs on their legs, so be careful with them. I don't think that it's deadly, but I think it's supposedly it stings really badly, like way worse than a bee sting, if I remember correctly. Sparky, Niku House said that Kamala got into politics through her sister, who worked for Hillary. So Kamala may be part of the Clinton faction of the Uniparty rather than the Obama faction. Yeah, yes, I think that she's more associated with the Clinton faction, which is funny. President-elect, are you going to ignore Nambla frogs invading chat like Tim Pool? Oh, they are? I'm on the starred chat. My apologies. Somebody pervin in chat? They better not be. Fuck groomers, fuck the woke, fuck the left. Anyone in regular chat over on YouTube? Who's posting pervy shit, if anyone? John Hoyle, how effective will the rebranding of Kamala be in boosting her polls, or is it just an anti-Trump vote regardless of candidate? I think the latter. Is someone posting pervy shit over on YouTube chat? Or is it over on Rumble? You know, let me check. Who's posting? I don't see anything. Yeah, if people are posting like perversion trolling or something like that, as long as it's only trolling and they're not like posting links to illicit material, and I'll Rumble is clear. Okay, thank you, Sigil. If somebody is just posting weird shit and it's just obviously a meme, I don't care about that. If they're posting links to something and nobody, it was okay. It's whatever. I can't. You got to understand. I can't keep up with both chats at once with this many people piled over. There's almost 5,000 fucking people watching, and I've got to read out the news. So, if you see anything weird in chat, just report it. If it's something illicit, illegal, anything like that, spam, just fucking report it. You can help me take care of that. I don't have moderators on my channel, and I never will. Mike the Womp. Clank, motherfuckers. I hope you, your garden, and your family are well, Tarl. Love the science and nature topics. Nice break from the enslavement of the human race. Yeah, I wanted to get more into science and stuff like that. Maybe some meme culture and stuff. I can't just talk about politics. I know that's why people generally tune in, but God, can't we cut loose a little bit towards the end of the streams? I just looked and it was 44:44 on the live stream. Final news story. A mixed approach to reforestation is better than planting or regeneration alone, study finds. So there are two basic methods if you have a deforested area. You plant it deliberately, so you replant the forest, or you let the area go fallow, simply limit human activity there, and eventually nature takes its course. It turns out that if you mix the two of them together, you get a much more efficient result. For a fraction of the price of reforesting it yourself, with much more efficacy than letting nature take its course. It's quicker, it captures more carbon. Fascinating, actually. Here's a picture there. They've got, it looks like thousands and thousands and thousands of seedlings for trees. Also, I would point out, if you want to sequester carbon, because this is the climate change shuffle bullshit, I do believe in reforestation. It's a good idea. In any area that's been brought under the heel of mankind, it's no longer really under use. You should reforest it because then you can use it later as well with cyclical harvesting and things like that. You can have a food forest. You can get lumber. You can get herbs, medicines, things like that, and graze cattle or goats or sheep or whatever. And that's just sort of, you should do that. One thing that you can do, though, is grow the forest, periodically cut it, carbonize the wood, and pump it into the soil. Later on, you can always dig that shit in and use it for farming, even in marginal areas. The same is true of rock dust. There was an interesting story about Easter Island, actually, Rapa Nui, that I covered a few weeks ago. And it was about the techniques that they use to grow certain crops there. Cassava, they were growing bananas and a few other things, and that was the food source. And it was about the rock gardens that they created and how powdered rock, so they would pound the rocks together, they'd add that actually to the crops as well, thus adding micronutrients. You can do this with azomite in your own garden. I use it. It's a good idea. It does boost growth. It will produce bigger and better plants, helps them resist disease, although it unfortunately does not work with my zucchinis and powdery mildew. If you do all of these things, if you are worried about taking carbon out of the atmosphere, carbonizing wood and pumping it into agricultural soil to raise the growth rate is simply a no-brainer. When I see people saying, well, we need to invest more in carbon capture techniques, dude, people have been doing that for thousands of years. There's an area the size of England in the Amazon rainforest that originally we thought was never inhabited by anything other than nomadic tribes that turns out to have had roads with curbs and little cities and ziggurats and everything else. It's a whole fucking goddamn culture. The amount of food that you could raise on that soil is gigantic, especially with the climate. I'm sure they were growing their fucking papayas and everything else. Plenty of tomatoes too, which is hilarious. That's the way to capture carbon and actually make it useful. Instead of worrying about CO2 in the atmosphere, let's take the carbon and use it for some useful purpose. We can balance things and we can grow bigger crops. At some point, we might hit an inflection point, grow them too big, and actually cause an ice age, unfortunately. But I'm going to be using biochar in my garden. I've got 400 pounds of charcoal out there or something like that. That is a lot of carbon. So it turns out that the currently used techniques, let it go fallow or replant it yourself, both of them are rather inefficient. It takes a mix of the two, which is kind of a no-brainer. But again, they had to do a scientific study with regards to this. Alejandro 305. By the way, please send no more super chats. I got to get out in the garden and come to speak of it myself right now. Imagine how our country would look if Biden was president during the Voldemort disease. We'd all be eating bugs now. Yeah, probably. Sparky, but he was president during the latter part. More people died under him than under Trump, actually. Sparky, fun fact, the Ottoman Empire sent ships to rescue Jews from the Spanish Inquisition in 1492. Yes, I believe you are correct. Savvy's Greek Feet sent $2. No comment. Thank you. Yeah. David Coombs, I was at Yellowstone when it exploded. Never been there before now. It's crazy I was there for it. Sadly, I was parked 15 minutes away. Yeah, that steam explosion was formidable. I bet you saw the plume from it. President-elect Pressure 609. Check Tim Pool's chat and you'll see what frogs are. Yeah, no, frog meme is more associated with like the Pepe posting and Groypers and stuff like that. It's not associated with pedophilia. Miss Grimstock, hi Sticks. I just had a tomato sandwich with tomatoes from my garden. Food of the gods. Yeah, I can't wait to harvest more of the fresh produce. Might be having steamed collards later, actually. You don't need to do much to collards to make them yummy. You just pinch of salt when you're steaming them off, and then you put a little butter on them, maybe, and that's about it. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's Meat and Eat. Free shipping for your biltong using code STICKS on biltongusa.com and antonsusa.com. We are saving to move our business and appreciate all your support. Happy Friday. Yes, TGIF. Yeah, they're currently locked in a battle with the city of Roanoke, Texas, and so they're planning to imminently abandon their operation there and reestablish it elsewhere. So if you buy Biltong or Sticks merch from them, and you can get, again, free shipping with code STICKS, then you're helping the small business to escape from fucking tyranny. It's interesting that you would be tyrannized in the state of Texas, by the way. Maybe you should contact the state representative or something like that, have them weigh in. It might work. I mean, you're a small business. It's election season. They want to schmooze. And you can get your senator in there or something. Greg Abbott shows up, and he's like, oh, this Biltong's great. Fuck. Then they nationalize Biltong production in the state of Texas because he's like, he wants to control it all because it's tasty or something. Corbane 11. The president of the ALA is a self-avowed Marxist lesbian named Emily Drabinski. It's on her wiki page, wrote a paper called Queering the Catalog. Yeah. Should tell my friend Nick that. Why am I not surprised? President-elect, like I said, they're not Pepe. Well, yeah, but I mean, 99% of my audience are adults anyway, so I don't think anyone's going to come to this channel to try to traffic kids or something like that. The average age of my audience is about the same as my age, so we're talking mid-30s. So like 25 to 45, that's sort of where most people are. So, yeah, I mean, you know, if you want to catfish some groomers on the channel, that's perfectly fine. Hee, I'm only 13. Do you want a date? You know, something like that. That'd be funny. Jason Pelto, step it up, news hippie. Yeah, if you want to entrap some groomers, just remember to gather all of the evidence before the police get involved, because otherwise entrapment laws will get away with it. This is a big problem with To Catch a Predator. Did you know that the majority of the dudes that were entrapped on there, they got away with it in the end? They were released because of entrapment laws being the way that they are, because the police were cooperating with Chris Hansen. They were working with him directly. And so they said, well, there was no kid here, number one, and you did this, you lured me in. I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't lured me in. Unfortunately, that's a legal defense in that case. So when Joe Biden shows up to sniff a couple of 12-year-olds and finds out that they're not actually any 12-year-olds in the house, he gets off in more ways than one. Hiro Sinishiban, honeypots are illegal. If the police are directly involved or the legal authorities in any manner, then typically you end up with a dismissal of the case, assuming that that person is capable of hiring a lawyer. If they're not involved, though, and then the police get involved, so it's a vigilante sting, then it's a little bit different. By the way, Chris Hansen is a shit fuck. He's a tax fraud, and he spent years rambling about Onision just for clout for no apparent reason. It's not even clear what happened with that one. That's that dude, the creepy dude that did the banana dance or something like that. And then Hansen spent, apparently his lawyer had, some sort of weird charge against him, like assault or something. His career trajectory is completely off the chain. I don't know what the fuck is happening with him. I haven't checked up on it in over a year. It was weird though. Tax fraud charges. It's like the continuing income from that show. Do you really need to commit tax fraud, my dude? Everyone under the sun fucking watched To Catch a Predator. Sparky. Make Israel Syria again. In those Ottoman Empire days, Levant Jews get along fine with their neighbors, whether Muslim, Christian, or otherwise. Based Acid Fox, Amazing Atheist. Now, Amazing Atheist has some perverted tendencies, but he doesn't appear to be into kids or anything like that. Now, the allegation was that Onizian, I guess, banged a 17-year-old or something like that. And Chris Hansen, like, literally went to his house and he called the cops at one point and, like, weird shit like that. And it was sort of like he was just trying to get attention, much like with his original show. Again, the majority of the people that were featured, showcased on that show as trying to hook up with like the 15-year-old, the majority of them that got the charges dropped because the police were directly involved. Now, they had to be there. In all honesty, it made sense from Hansen's perspective because it's like, okay, I'm going to confront this person with the fact that they just committed a felony or attempted to do so. I might get attacked. I might need some backup. They should have used private security more than instead of getting the cops involved. Then they could have nailed these people. Darren Crawford sticks, huge fan from Hamilton, Canada. More to come. Thank you very much. Yeah, imagine one of those dudes that showed up with a firearm, too. That would have been a little bit of a problem. That wouldn't have. I mean, kudos to him for, being willing to literally risk his life for the show. But, most of these people, they're still out there. They got their charges dropped. They're not on any registry. How wonderful. Yeah. At least everyone knows that they're a perv because they're, you put them on the show. Again, please send no more super chats because we're running up against an hour. There's been a shit ton of super chats and need to go, I don't know, weed the garden or something. I want to get outside. If you notice, I'm a little bit tanned. I went to the pool the other day, actually, with my niece. Old Fat Gamer is a North Carolinian. Seeing Roy Cooper's name on the list of possible VP picks for Kamala is terrifying. He has been an absolute abysmal governor. Well, then that would make sense that she would consider him, of course. It's Kamala we're talking about. The Beacon. Can you give a shout out to Steve at the Maine Wire? Yes, of course. He rented a drive-in theater in Succo, Maine to play his documentary exposing Maine's corruption, September 20th. Okay, Steve at the Maine Wire. He has rented out a drive-in theater to expose the corruption in the state of Maine, which, Stephen King is there for a reason, So, yeah. We've rambled about monotremes, Komodo dragons, Chris Hansen, and Kamala Harris. Which one of these things is the most dangerous? Probably Kamala. I mean, she's going to enable the people that, Chris Hansen was trying to go after. She's more venomous than any monotreme. And she may not have iron teeth like a Komodo dragon, but if she becomes commander-in-chief, then she's got aircraft carriers and shit she can play with. So I would say Kamala is the most dangerous of those three. More dangerous than an army of pedos. More dangerous than an army of pedos riding Komodo dragons. That's Kamala Harris. Oh, somebody needs to put that on a fucking shirt or something like that. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go offline. I thank you to the nearly 5,000 people that tuned in live. I will be live again tomorrow to make up for Thursday, but I'm hungry as fuck. Now that, Anton mentioned biltong, that doesn't help. Probably get a snack, mainly out in the garden. You stuff some biltong down, some cherry tomatoes, maybe steam off some collards. I don't know. I'm easy. I'm wondering if you could take biltong and wrap it in cabbage leaves and cook it off with onions and shit like that. So it'd be sort of like sarma or something like that. Oh, a couple more. BW, TJ may be a leftoid, but he used to do funny shit. Yeah, I agreed back in the 2000s. I stopped watching when he did Drunk Peasant last time. I saw he was begging for subs to buy him costumes. Yeah. Yeah, he also stuffed bananas and shit in his ass. And to get attention, probably. Michael Aurelius Brutus, what do you think about Marilyn Manson? Marilyn Manson is innocent of the charges against him and a very, very talented individual. He's an interesting man. I've covered one of his songs. I covered Antichrist Superstar. You can look it up, Stick, Sex, and Hammer, Antichrist Superstar. And take a look. Some people say I sound like the Morrison was doing Marilyn Manson cover or something like that. I had fun. It was great. Sparky on the Boondocks cartoon, they had that guy famous for raping men in prison show, Chris Hansen. What for? The episode was called The Booty Warrior. Yeah, don't drop the soap, don't drop the soap, baby. Don't drop the soap and don't bend over. That's about all. Peace out.